Hello, welcome to Anime Mystics. I'm Roman, and tonight I am watching the Ito Junji Collection, Episode 3. So last episode was actually pretty creepy. The first story, I believe, was called The Model. It's about this group of guys. They're trying to be, they're trying to make a movie. And one of them ends up, he's like by himself, but he's going through town. He's thinking to himself that he has like a bad feeling, something's going to happen. He says usually his feelings like that are correct. So he stops into some little, I think it was like a restaurant or a cafe or something, and he picks up a magazine when he sits down, and he's flipping through the pages, and he comes across this, I think it was like an ad, with this really, really creepy looking model. She's like really pale. Let's see, try to describe her. I'll just look up an image. Because I will not be able to remember how to describe her. Let's see. Yeah, really pale. Blonde hair, like a really long face with like almost like sunken in eyes. Really creepy. And he really thought so too. He saw the image and he couldn't get her out of his head. The next thing that they do is they show him with his friends, and they're doing I think it was a script, and they were trying to get it, I guess, approved to make a movie, and it's like a student movie. And they do. And they're like, okay, well, we gotta start doing a casting for our lead female. The director says he didn't believe that there was any students at their school that were pretty enough. So they wanted to do open casting for it. So they put out like flyers and I guess like an ad or something stating that they needed actresses. So they get a few, letters with like headshots and stuff in it. And they find one they believe is perfect for the role. At least look-wise. They still have to do an interview and stuff. But, yeah, the director was pretty happy with her. And then they look at one more, and it's the model that the other guy saw in the magazine. Sent in some of her headshots. And he's like, that is the model that I saw in the magazine, the one that I've been telling you all about. And the director is all like, why don't we invite her to the audition as well? We can have her in there, and, she's a model, so maybe we'll get some kind of publicity because she's in the movie. And I'm just looking at the model going, why would you do this to your poor friend who is totally creeped out? It's even worse when they actually get to the interview. They're at like a restaurant and they're talking to the actress that's up for the lead role. And then like a minute or so later, the model shows up. It's really tall. And she looks like she's way over 6 feet. Because she's like towering over everybody. She's still looking incredibly creepy. She gives her name, sits down. The director, the guy's friend, tells her that his friend over here is a big fan of hers. Which, no. He's basically, after the whole thing, he's like, why did you tell her I was a fan? I'm not a fan. She scares me. Made it even worse is they hire both of them. And they decide to film their movie. I guess whatever kind of movie they're doing, they decide to shoot scenes in the woods by themselves. Just the cast and the crew. She's sitting in the car. I forget, one of them I think makes a joke or something, and she starts laughing. And when she opens her mouth, you see like really sharp teeth. And that would have just made me turn around right there. I'd be like, okay, you know what? Let's go back. Let's do some other scenes instead, where more people are around. But they still go to the woods. They're shooting the scenes with the main actress. The model is just standing to the side, and she's like got her eyes on the one dude, the one the director said was a fan of hers. And he ends up later having to go to the bathroom, but obviously there's no restroom or anything out there, so he just goes somewhere in the woods. And she follows him. And then she starts chasing him. Like laughing as she's doing it. And he hides and then gets away. And he's telling him, look, can we just leave? Like, let's just leave her here. And the director is like, look, we can't do that. What if she like comes after us? She's gonna be mad if we just leave her here. So they end up staying. They're doing another scene with the dude and the main actress. The model is getting irritated because, well, she says they've been doing only this girl scenes. When are they going to get to hers? And the director is like, okay, well, let's take a break. When we come back, we'll start shooting some of your scenes. And then they're sitting together, and they're like, look, maybe we should just do all of her scenes at once, and then just have her be done today. That way we don't have to have her around anymore. This is the director and the main guy. The other friend was out. No, there was another guy. There was like four of them. It was the main guy, the director, and the cameraman or something. And there's another guy with them. And he comes running up, yelling for them. And he says he was in the woods, because he had to use... I think he was looking for the main actress. And says that he saw the model kill and eat the main actress. And they're like, no, I don't believe that. The main guy's like, yeah, I believe it. Can we go now, please? And they're like, well, show us. Which, just stupid. They end up going into the woods, and they find her. Well, they don't find her, but they find the area where they were, and there's blood everywhere from where she killed the girl and ate her. And then she comes up from behind a log and starts chasing them. She ends up catching the one guy that went and got them and takes a huge chunk out of his neck. The main dude falls down and then just watches as his other two friends run off. A typical horror movie situation. And then she's standing over him with the other guy, like still getting ready to like take another bite, and is like, finally we get to be alone. And that's where it ends. And the other half, I forget the name of it, but it was less creepy. I mean, it was kind of creepy how the guy looked towards the end, but it was less creepy and more sad. It was, to me anyway, it was about a guy who has what he calls long dreams. Basically, every time he goes to sleep, his dreams seem like they're longer and longer. he was saying, I think when he went to the hospital the first time, that it felt like a day had gone by, when really it was only a few hours. But every time he goes to sleep, the time extends. And I think by the middle of it, he was having like a lifetime's worth of experiences in a dream. And one night where it felt like he was living an entire life. And there was another patient there. I don't remember exactly what she was there for. But she'd seen him. He had wandered into her room. She was basically freaked out. I think she was dying, I believe. There was something wrong with her where she was dying. Because she kept saying she didn't want to die. But he's basically thinking that because of the dreams he's been having, that she's his wife. And he gets to see her. She's freaking out because of the way he looks. He's like gray skin. His eyes look... I don't know how to describe the way his eyes looked. His skin is like... I want to say kind of cracked looking. Like it's really dry and like... almost like it's like cracked mud, almost. Like when it dries in the sun. And when he sees her and says, that they're married, she's like, no, and all this other stuff. And it's when he realizes, okay, it was a dream. And he leaves and goes back to his bed. And he ends up just dying in bed. He had, I think they called it like an eternal dream, where he went to sleep and he just had like a dream that lasted forever. And by that time, his body just basically turned to dust. And he died, obviously. Now the doctor is making notes of this the entire time. And decided that it would be a good idea to inject the girl with some of, I guess, the ash, like, because it has his DNA in it, and see what would happen. And she starts having the dreams, the long dreams, because he asks how she's doing, and she says she's feeling a little better, but her dreams have been feeling a little longer lately. And he's talking about how, oh God, I can't exactly remember how he put it, but it was basically, if people could have eternal dreams, then it might make it be better or something. I don't know. I can't remember exactly. However it was said, did not make sense at all, really, to me. So basically, she's going to die the same way as the other guy. Eventually, she hasn't reached that point yet. Like, her skin hasn't started changing. Her eyes have, but not her skin. So yeah, that's what happened in the last episode. It took me 13 minutes to talk about all that. I think that's the longest intro by myself I've done. This is the left, right? But I don't know exactly what to expect in this episode, because it's always different stories. I don't know what stories he's going to do, and I've never really read any of Ito Junji's stuff. So I don't know what to expect. Hopefully it's not too creepy. I have to sleep because I go work tomorrow. I don't want to be up all night. So let's get into this episode. The video is going to be located over here. Excuse me. And the link to the reaction is going to be in the description down below. Open this. And let me see, can I turn this down? Let's turn it down to 18. Alright, and we're going to start this episode in 3, 2, 1.